In the heart of Europe, where waltzes echoed through golden halls and soldiers marched beneath glittering imperial banners, an empire tried to hold together a dozen nations with one crown, and in doing so, shaped the destiny of the modern world. The story of the Austro-Hungarian Empire truly begins in 1867, when a political compromise transformed the aging Austrian Empire into a new dual monarchy. After a humiliating defeat by Prussia in 1866, the Habsburg ruler, Franz Joseph I, faced a dangerous reality. The Hungarians, long resentful of Austrian dominance, were demanding autonomy. Rather than risk rebellion, Franz Joseph accepted the Ausgleich, the compromise of 1867, which created the dual monarchy of Austria-Hungary. Two capitals now stood at the center of power, Vienna and Budapest. The emperor was crowned King of Hungary, as well as Emperor of Austria, ruling two states under one monarch, with separate parliaments, governments, and budgets, yet united in foreign policy, defense, and finance. On paper, it was a brilliant solution. In reality, it was an experiment balancing on a knife's edge. The empire stretched across Central and Eastern Europe, encompassing modern-day Austria, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and parts of Italy, Romania, Poland, and Ukraine. Within its borders lived Germans, Hungarians, Czechs, Slovaks, Croats, Serbs, Poles, Ukrainians, Romanians, Italians, Jews, and more. Over 50 million people spoke at least a dozen major languages. In Vienna, the Ringstrasse Boulevard displayed imperial confidence. Grand buildings like the Vienna State Opera and Parliament symbolized culture and power. The city became a global center of art, music, and psychology. Composers such as Johann Strauss II filled ballrooms with waltzes, while later, figures like Sigmund Freud would revolutionize the understanding of the human mind. Budapest flourished as well. The Hungarian Parliament building rose magnificently along the Danube River, symbolizing renewed national pride. Industrialization accelerated. Railways connected distant provinces. Factories expanded. By the early 20th century, the empire was one of Europe's major powers. Yet beneath the glitter lay deep cracks. Nationalism, the powerful idea that each ethnic group deserved its own nation-state, was spreading across Europe. The Czechs wanted greater autonomy. South Slavs dreamed of unity. Romanians looked toward independence. Even within Hungary, minority groups complained of Magyarization policies that forced Hungarian language and identity upon them. The empire's structure favored Germans in Austria and Magyars in Hungary, leaving other ethnicities politically marginalized. Parliament sessions often descended into chaos, with deputies shouting in different languages. Political compromise grew harder with each passing year. Franz Joseph himself became a symbol of stability, a stoic, disciplined ruler who worked tirelessly and lived modestly. But tragedy haunted his family. In 1889, his only son, Crown Prince Rudolf, died in a shocking apparent suicide at Merling. In 1898, his beloved wife, Empress Elizabeth, Sissi, was assassinated in Geneva. Personal sorrow mirrored the empire's quiet unraveling. Meanwhile, tensions simmered in the Balkans. In 1908, Austria-Hungary annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina, angering Serbia and Russia. Slavic nationalism intensified. Secret societies plotted revolution. The empire's leaders feared that any concession might trigger collapse, yet repression only fueled resentment. Then came the spark. On the 28th of June, 1914, in Sarajevo, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the throne, was assassinated by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist. Within weeks, diplomatic tensions spiraled into a continent-wide conflict. World War I. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Alliances activated like falling dominoes. Germany backed Austria-Hungary. Russia mobilized. France and Britain joined. What began as a Balkan crisis became a global catastrophe. The empire fought on multiple fronts against Russia in the east, Italy in the south, and Serbia in the Balkans. Its diverse army included soldiers speaking dozens of languages, often struggling to communicate with their officers. Supplies ran short, food became scarce, civil unrest grew. In 1916, after 68 years on the throne, Franz Joseph died. His grandnephew, Emperor Charles I, inherited an empire already exhausted by war. He attempted reforms and even secret peace negotiations, but it was too late. By 1918, defeat was inevitable. Nationalist movements declared independence one after another. Czechoslovakia emerged. South Slavs formed what would become Yugoslavia. Hungary separated. Austria declared itself a republic. After more than 4 centuries of Habsburg rule, the Austro-Hungarian Empire dissolved almost overnight. What makes this empire so astonishing is not just its dramatic collapse, but how modern it truly was. It pioneered multinational governance long before the European Union. It nurtured extraordinary cultural achievements. It tried imperfectly and ultimately unsuccessfully to unite diverse peoples under shared institutions rather than fragment into endless conflict. Yet its failure also reshaped Europe. The new states that replaced it struggled with borders and ethnic tensions, contributing to future instability. The power vacuum in Central Europe would later play a role in the rise of extremist movements, including Nazism. Today, when you walk through Vienna's imperial palaces or Budapest's grand boulevards, you still feel the echo of that vanished world. A world of uniforms, waltzes, and whispered conspiracies. The Austro-Hungarian Empire was a dazzling mosaic of cultures, languages, and ambitions, held together by tradition and monarchy in an age racing toward nationalism and democracy. It was not simply an empire that fell. It was a vision of multinational coexistence that could not survive the storm of modern politics, and its collapse changed the course of the 20th century forever.